with Your Excellencies, African Diplomatic Group, and all invited guests as we join the sons and daughters of Africa on this very special occasion to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the organization of the African Union, by then, but now the African Union. This dinner to celebrate the 60th anniversary is being co-hosted jointly by the government of the United Republic of Tanzania and the African Diplomatic Group. On behalf of the government of the United Republic of Tanzania and our co-organizers, the African Diplomatic Group, may I thank you all for honoring our invitation, and I'm here to represent the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan. Your Excellencies, and she wishes you a very happy African Day. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, may I, on behalf of Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, and the people of Tanzania, congratulate Your Excellencies, African Group of Ambassadors, and people of Africa as we celebrate this historical event. The 60th anniversary of the organization of the African Unity, now the African Union, which is being held under the theme, Our Africa, Our Future, is of great importance to all African countries. It reminds us of our common and historical background, strong cultural identity, common heritage, shared values, and an African whose development is people-driven. These celebrations allow us to reflect on the progress made and the milestones achieved towards an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa driven by our own citizens. The achievements recorded over the past 60 years were made possible by our brave founding fathers whose vision were to strive for a united, peaceful Africa representing a dynamic force in the world arena. Because of their vision, they took a historical stride and they formed an institution that would be at the forefront of the African people's aspirations for freedom, unity, and solidarity. Therefore, we cannot mark these celebrations without recognizing our founding fathers such as Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia, Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, and the Secretary of Guinea, just to mention a few. There are many who took up the cause of advancing Pan-Africanism ideal. The sacrifices of these African heroes and heroines built a foundation for Africa we live in today. Excellencies, distinguished guests, Tanzania made her own sacrifice and a contribution to the liberation struggle of Africa and development. Under the leadership of the late Julius Kambarage Nyerere, Tanzania supported liberation movements and encouraged African unity and solidarity. Tanzania hosted liberation movements, provided funds, logistical support, and training. Tanzania played a key role in the liberation of Africa countries and provided leadership to the frontline states together with other frontline state leaders. The 10th volume of Hashimumbita Research and Publication documents the history of the liberation struggle in Southern Africa as part of Africa liberation struggle. The publication, among others, presents the history and testament of the commitment, dedicated, and sacrifices of those who fought for to bring freedom enjoyed today in Southern Africa. May I encourage all of us to read this very, very rich publication. While member states of Southern Africa Development Community contributed funds for the research and publication, the Republic of Angola contributed greatly. Substantial initial resources were contributed by the Republic of Angola. While recognize this great contribution by Angola, may I, on behalf of all of us, express gratitude to our brothers and sisters in Angola for her generosity for this enormous response. One may be surprised why I am mentioning about this publication is part of the liberation struggle of Africa. is not only about Southern Africa, it is about Africa. Together with the stories about Southern Africa, there are also stories about liberation struggle in Africa. So please, let us preserve our history and let us continue publishing such a publication which will forever ensure that our history is kept. Our history is we are losing it. And if we are not careful, by the time we realize the current and future generation, they won't know anything about where we came from. So please, this is just one of the publications, but there are many out there. May I also recognize the great role and the contribution by late Brigadier General Hashim Mbita in leading the OAU Liberation Committee. Excellencies, distinguished guests, apart from reminding us that the sacrifices and contributions by our founding fathers, these celebrations remind us of our obligations to sustain a united and peaceful Africa and making it prosperous. Yes, we are here, we are liberated. Still we have challenges here and there, but are we prosperous? I'm not sure about that. What should we do to reach there? It is now incumbent upon us. It is our obligation to make sure that indeed Africa is as prosperous as we would wish to see it. Indeed, we can achieve this by exploring and utilizing effectively the available opportunities, and by jointly and aggressively addressing challenges facing the continent, some of which were mentioned by the Dean there, including the need to silence the guns. You explained a lot about what is going on, the conflicts. Now we need to make sure that indeed we have had this desire and objective, I don't know for how many years, but still we have not been able to silence the gun. Why is that the case? What should be done? It is for us to make sure that indeed we silence the guns. Being the second largest continent by a geographical area and the most populous continent with 1.2 billion people, Africa offers many opportunities. May I make emphasis on the vast economic opportunities, including trade-related. I believe if we all commit to work together in promoting trade amongst ourselves, we will achieve aspiration of our Agenda 2063. It is therefore necessary for us, as we celebrate the 6th years of African Union, to reflect on this year's African Union theme, coined as Acceleration of African Continental Free Trade Area Implementation. The African Union has taken a great leap in closer collaboration with all relevant organs and the specialized agents of the African Union, regional mechanism and regional economic communities, in line with their respective mandate to fast-track the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area for the benefit of Africa. The African Continental Free Trade Area is undoubtedly an important tool that will promote and significantly boost inter-Africa trade across all sectors of Africa economies. It is also a significant milestone on the journey to Africa integration and development. Trade facilitation depends also on seamless infrastructure, both soft and hard infrastructure. To this end, may I call upon African Union member states to continue mainstreaming continental industrialization policy and the infrastructure development plan to international laws and the development program with a view to accelerate the implementation of African Continental Free Trade Area and as such economic integration. We may look at implementation of the Continental Free Trade Area in isolation. But you're not going to be able to achieve that if you don't have a facilitative environment, including infrastructure, which when I say infrastructure, hard and soft, it means that the transportation part of it, but you have the ICT part of it. But also, and I'm very glad that the World Bank has agreed to host a summit on human capital. Human capital also is very critical for continental free trade area. And hence the acceptance by my president to host that summit. So what I'm trying to say here, continental free trade area has a number of components which needs to go together with it for us to make sure that indeed we have an effective continental free trade area. Because you need to move goods from Tanzania to Nigeria. You need to move goods from Morocco to South Africa. Just a few examples. How are you going to move those goods if you don't have a facilitated infrastructure? But also you need to have friendly legislation. You need to have a friendly policy. All those need to be taken into consideration as we move forward to ensure that indeed our continental free trade area is effective. I've just mentioned that. I'm not going to go into the technical details, ensuring that we have the offers, which we have not done so. A number of us, we have not even exchanged our offers. I don't know about the rules of origin. So there's a lot of work which we need to do if indeed we need to have an effective economic integration in our continent. Excellencies, distinguished guests, while reflecting on the opportunities we have in the continent, we need also to acknowledge that there are challenges facing the continent which hampers prosperity of our continent, some of which you mentioned them did. And some of these challenges include undemocratic change. That is why we have a lot of conflicts in the region of government, armed conflicts, climate change, poverty, and unemployment. We have to intensify our efforts, our joint efforts, and devise smart, and I'm underlining smart collective strategies and measures to overcome these challenges. We have had a number of strategies, but we have not been able to move that fast. We need to think out of the box and come up with smart strategies and measures. External factors should also not be underrated, as they have a bearing on our continent and the world at large. The Russia-Ukraine conflict and the COVID-19 pandemic are some of the recent examples which have had negative impacts and serious setbacks to progress made by the continent. Our unity and the commitment to accelerate continental integration, including the acceleration of the continental free trade area implementation, are of critical importance so as to enhance our capacities and capabilities. I'm not sure if I'm going to quote appropriately. I heard a few days ago President Ruto, President of Kenya, while he was saying that we have been saying that we need to address the African solution using to address the African solution by African means. But do we have the means? So this is again another area which we need to look into, that we need to enhance our capacities and capabilities. Excellencies, overall, as a union, we must build an integrated Africa that is prosperous and an Africa that is economically strong and which is politically guided by the ideals of Pan-Africanism. We must have a peaceful and a secure Africa, and Africa with its own identity, common heritage and shared values, and Africa whose development is based on her own vision and the creativity of her people. The world's dynamics are drastically changing, politically, socially, and economically. Our unity and a clear vision to realize our desired peaceful and prosperous future for a common destiny are very key. Let us solidify our unity. Excellencies, distinguished guests, as I conclude, and as we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the African Union, let us dedicate ourselves to African unity and uphold the shared values and ideals of our founders, of the founders of the African Union. Africa is our home. We must devote ourselves to exploiting its resources to our advantage and the advantage of the succeeding generations. The United Republic of Tanzania, under the able leadership of Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, remains committed to the values and aspiration of the African Union. Forever will remain a committed member of the African Union. May I end by the following quote from the letter Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere from his book titled Uhuru and Umoja, means Freedom and Unity, an essay on socialism of 1967, and I quote, "The current generation of leaders and peoples of Africa must pick up the flickering torch of African freedom, refuel it with their enthusiasm and determination and carry it forward. Our strong, peaceful, prosperous Africa is our future. At this juncture, may I request that we raise our glasses and we toast for our African Day. I'm doing this on behalf of my President, Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, who sent me here to be with you this evening to celebrate with you. Long live the African Union, long live Pan-Africanism. And long live our chairperson of the African Union, the President of Comoros. And long live the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan. Thank you.